welcome to the Absolute Football Podcast, Absolutely WSL show, the show dedicated to all things WSL and, of course, the Championship too. But I could not do this alone, and I wouldn't like to do this alone because it would be very, very boring. And I don't think you'd want to listen to me drone on all day. So I've brought some fantastic friends with me, and what a panel we've got tonight. I'm really excited. Danny, how are you? How's your week been?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good. I've never been called a panel before, so that's exciting.
Also, I don't know what went through my head then. I think I feel like I have to be posh now because I'm not on my riff-raff show.
We need to make this a riff-raff show then, in that case.
We do.
It's much more fun being a riff-raff show than a serious one. But yeah, excited to talk about Mark Skinner for about 3 hours. So
I know. We'll have to set a bit of a timer on that, won't we?
Yeah, exactly.
We'll start with that as well. I thought if we start with it, at least then we can keep it a little bit shorter because we know we have to talk football. But yeah, that should be fun. Freya, how are you? How's your week been?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Went to the Manchester United Villa game at the weekend and then spent a few days in Manchester afterwards. So yeah, it softened the blow a bit of the defeat, but there we go.
No, we're gonna have to talk about that later, but we'll let you all have your thoughts as well first on the Conti Cup. We will do that a little bit later. And last but not least, Paul, how are you and how's your week been?
Not too bad. Ticking along. Enjoying the prospect of Mark Skinner's press conference on Friday. And enjoying listening to Freya trying to walk the line between Sunderland and Villa as well.
I've got my best head on tonight. That's what's going to happen.
Oh, funny. And of course, it's not just us. We have a lot of people in the chat as well. So thank you so much. We've got Chris who's put, good evening all. Looking forward to another brilliant WSL show. We've got our Johnny in the chat as well, who tunes into them all. Bless him. Chris as well. Yay, show has started. Our very own Sam as well. Big up panel and the panelists. Have a great show all. We've got Jen. We've got Simon. So yeah.
Deadline day as well, by the way, this evening for WSL. So we're frantically. So I was trying to find a yellow tie earlier, but I couldn't find one anywhere. So I'll have to find something that's yellow during the course of the hour, just in case something breaks.
Yeah,
we're hoping like a major transfer happens.
Yellow object.
Yeah, I've got a yellow submarine somewhere, but I don't know.
Anyone fancy turning up in a car next to Harry Redknapp and just kind of one of us car door?
Can we just go and find Mark Skinner in his car and just?
I don't think anyone would want to at this moment, would they? Want to find him? He'd be a bit of a grumpy man, I think. We've got Mr. Luke as well, one of our usual. So hello and thank you so much for everyone supporting this show as well. Who wants to start then? We will talk the drama from the Conti Cup, but I don't know who to ask first. Who wants to start us off?
I think we should ask the person who was there.
Yeah. Go on, Freya.
I'm trying to figure out which way to look at it first. So actually on the day, I thought Villa obviously won 7-0 and we thought, right, okay, we've won all 4 games. I know there's been a lot of controversy about actually what the different groups look like. Some are more Championship, some are more WSL. But it's done on location, isn't it? It's done geographically. So really, it's not Villa's fault that they were put into a group with Sunderland, Durham, etc. So they made the best of the group, and then on the night as well. Sunderland had a couple of chances, but it just didn't fall for them that night. So 7-0. And we saw the team sheet come out, and a couple of us went, Maritz is on there. Oh, rules must have changed, as they do with the Conti Cup. Trying to find one set of rules is mad. We're like, call rule, everyone will know. And then it started to go all around Twitter, and then it started to build up. We were like, oh God, what is going to be the outcome of this? And then we thought, well, actually, we were 3-0 up before Maritz came on. And then we went on to win 7-0. So it wasn't like a 1-1 penalties, like it wasn't a really tight race. We were like, okay. So it then went on to, absolute dead silence. So everyone that said Villa qualified, deleted, gone. And then, of course, news came out about the tribunal. We're like, okay, independent source, fine. It's taken out of everyone else's hands. And then it's come down to it. And actually, they've done the right thing of they had to judge it on that match. Because if you start looking at, oh, well, actually, it's going to impact that team and that group and that team and that group, then it wouldn't be a fair decision. It would be very biased. So speaking without any Villa or Sunderland heads on, they had to do it in relation to that match and that match only. And actually it said in the rules, because loads of people on Twitter, obviously different opinions, but it said, where in the rules does it say that? And actually, I think it's like 14.1 or something. If an ineligible player is fielded, then the points are awarded to the other team. So they have followed the rules as much as some people hate it. And that's kind of how it's got to be, very black and white, the rules, and that's how it's gone on. And it just so happened that because Villa had won their matches and had a massive goal difference, that they still had the points ultimately to go through, even with a deduction, which then goes on to, well, in any of the competition, Champions League, World Cup, whatever, you get put in your group, you do the best you can, and then the dice fall where they may, and you just have to accept it. So I can see why some people are annoyed, annoyed being the understatement. But at the end of the day, you can't focus on anyone else's results for your team to go through. You've kind of just focus on your team, your points, do the best you can. And if it doesn't work out, then but I think I've stayed quite in the middle lane there, haven't I?
Yeah.
I think there's two bits for it to be. There's two sides of it. There's one that's completely baffled how it happened in the first place. Like, how does someone get on the team sheet or you get in the team? You've got an idiot like me looking at it and thinking, oh, what's she doing there? How can someone like at the club not know it, or how does it slip through the net, and how does that happen? But you can only, this is the other side of it, you can only judge it on that one game, and that's what Freya was saying about the rules. You can only judge it on that's going to impact that one game that it happened in, which I think is fair enough. And it just so happened to put Man United out of, in the dirt kind of thing, not in the dirt, but not going through. And the whole thing that comes with it. And the first thing you see on social media is like, oh, we can't wait for Mark Skinner's reaction. Can't wait for Mark Skinner's reaction. And that's just one of the joyful parts of it that just comes along with it. But I just think, you've got to judge it on one game, and Man United, unfortunately, are in a group or in a place where they haven't won the games. And if you want to go through, you've got to win your games and do your best to win your games. And that's almost like him, and to the club itself, saying considering their options. I think they are. Is that what their statement was? I don't really see what options they have at the moment, and it's quite funny that it's happened to them, if I'm honest. And happened to them as a club. If it happened to anyone else, it wouldn't quite be as funny. But part of me is like, it's quite hilarious that it happened to them and to Skinner at the moment.
Paul, do you have any thoughts as well?
I mean, cynically, I thought Sunderland were going to get screwed over again because
there's
been a history in women's football of other clubs getting preferred over Sunderland. Ask like the arrival of Man City, West Ham, stuff like that, when everything was moved around. If you ask any Sunderland, the history of women's football has not been kind to Sunderland at all. And I wouldn't have been surprised. The really cynical part of me wouldn't have been surprised if there'd been pressure put upon from certain areas to say, well, maybe we'd be better off having Manchester United in the quarterfinals of the Continental Cup than we would Sunderland, for exposure and sponsorship and all that sort of thing. But I'm just a lover of chaos, so I was sat watching it, going, "This is going to be, WSL Twitter says proper Barclays about the WSL. It's proper Conti. Is that what it is?"
I think there was definitely a few Man United fans saying proper Conti about it, but I think that's what they were saying anyway.
I don't think they were saying Conti.
Okay.
But yeah, like Freya says, they made the decision based on that one game. And let's be honest, Mark Skinner this season, in his interviews, has not come across brilliantly when it comes to clubs going through. Like, for example, when Man United went out of the Champions League group stages, and he made those much publicised comments about how the Continental Cup group was harder than the Champions League group, which have come back to bite him. But I think there's nothing else the FA could have done. Like, genuinely, if they'd said, right, okay, we're going to punish Sunderland for something Aston Villa have done, and Manchester United are going to benefit, then how is that fair when Manchester United haven't basically done enough to go through, and had only done enough to go through because of a victory that was, like it or not, tainted, whether or not Noel Merritt's actually had any influence on the game. The rules were broken in that game, and so the FA did what they had to do. I don't know whether anyone saw the Sunderland women TikTok immediately afterwards, where they just there's a social media trend of a clip from somewhere where it's just, how will they know? They're gonna know. How will they know? Just one of those clips. And they just
I think I did.
They just use that with Noel Merritt's coming on, and I'm like, someone's earned their money there. That was beautifully done.
Oh, I love it. Anybody else want to add anything about this, or should we talk about the WSL now? Are we all just in agreement that we're excited to see the reaction on Friday? Is it from Skinner?
Yeah, I'm trying to get an invite to the press conferences. But...
That's going to be the most streamed press conference in WSL history.
They should make it pay-per-view, to be fair. Maybe he's just going to come out now and just be really dull and be like, "No, I don't care," just because he knows. Just wait for it. Yeah,
I don't think he's capable of that.
No.
I think he will come out and someone will ask him that question, and he will respond, and it will be memed for years.
Oh man. In the chat as well, we have got Chrissy's put, the whole thing is a massive mess. Summed it up quite well, didn't he, there? Just with that.
We need a bit of mess sometimes, though, don't we? It's quite funny.
Yeah, that is true. First game as well, we have Manchester United, speak of the Devils, 2, Aston Villa 1. Freya, I will let you have your moment and talk about this one. Sorry, I'm really sorry.
No, it's fine. We were all quite sad, actually, that the decision didn't come out until after the match, because then we thought while we were there, that tension, it was weird. I don't know if you have felt it before, but usually in women's football, there's a bit of banter between both fans, and it's really good fun, and everyone's there for the right reasons. It's really like you still feel welcome, even though you're at enemy ground or whatever. But going away to LSV was the first we felt a bad friction. It was really strange. So we went into it and thinking, okay, well, we got beat on opening day by United. So realistically, where Villa are, we wanted to just go and compete. And we knew that was kind of, as long as we did that, if we got a point from it, brilliant. If we got a win, even better. But yeah, we just needed to turn up, essentially. And in that first half, we didn't. So that was interesting. But in the second half, they came out fighting, and it was like, right, okay, this is more what we can deal with. And I think if they'd played like that for the whole 90 minutes, I reckon we would have got the draw. Because Rachel Daly, she had the controversial penalty. Don't know if you saw it, and then she mistimed her kick for the second shot on goal, and it would have been a brilliant equaliser in that second half. So yeah, I think if we'd played the way we did in that second half, it would have been a much better game for the whole 90. But it was interesting, again, going back to Mark Skinner, his comments after, where he was like, yeah, we proper battered Villa in the first half. And I'm like, it's not how you want a manager to talk.
No.
Like, that's like, if we came on here chatting, like, oh, we got battered, that kind of thing. But we're not a professional manager. We're not a coach. And you want to come out and you might say you dominated. You might say, yeah, we had the better chances. We had this, we had that. But you still want to be respectful. And I think
100%.
with everything that's going on, there's a lack of that. And I think, like you said, Danny, like throughout his press conferences for the past season, they've all been a bit, which could be down to pressure on his job.
I was just about, we've just got a comment off Johnny saying, do you think his job's on the line?
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because he's all about, we need more investment, we need more this, we need more that. And I think, didn't it come out, he's spent one of the highest amounts on transfers and things like that. So it's one thing to have the money, which Villa do not have, if anyone's saying Villa's transfer window. But yeah, you can spend all the money you want, but if you can't control your players, if you haven't got the right tactics, if you haven't got the right management in place, you can have all the money in the world to do it. So I think, that second half, we're really proud of Villa, but it was a shame that we couldn't get the draw, annoyingly, on that day.
Do you think Villa of last season go and get the draw? Because there's definitely something there, isn't there? Because I watched them against Leicester, and there's so much fight about them, so much organisation that just wasn't, like say, there in that first half. And it's really frustrating because on another day, maybe with what you had last season, confidence-wise, you would have gone and got a result there, because as soon as you scored it, you almost felt like the atmosphere was kind of starting to get fearful. Like if you do score, then you might have even got a third goal, because of course the atmosphere might have turned and switched on the management and all that kind of thing. Yeah,
and that's the devastating part of it, because we see glimpses, and there was 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes of like magic, and like they were putting these brilliant passes together, and it was what we've found out, or what we've noticed, is when they actually pass and it's really short, sharp passes, and they actually that belief is there, that's their best football when they play it. But for some reason they're going back to playing out from the back, and we're not strong enough to do that. And it's a really strange shift on how they're playing, and it's almost as if they've gone back to, we can win by defending instead of having that attack again. I think they just need to keep pushing for that, and have more of that attack about them. Because like you said, the Villa of last season would have got the draw and been pushing for that win and keep scoring and keep going. It's what's it going to take ultimately? Because I know loads of people have been talking about Carla Ward's job as well, and kind of that management structure. Is that still under pressure? What is it? What's going to change for that to click back into place? Because it is there. It's just not coming to the fore at the minute.
Yeah, I know you mentioned as well, obviously, that Villa and obviously the money. Have you strengthened in January, or is there any rumours of anyone coming in? Because obviously it's ending really soon, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got about 10 to 9. We've got till 11 o'clock. There is, so City have put in a bid for Laura Blinkilder Brown, which is reported at £200,000. She's got a release clause, which, again, devastating for us, but it's such a brilliant opportunity for a young player to go to City, to have that experience, even just the facilities, the environment, everything. So we can't hold it against her at all, if she's got that opportunity. And I think her medical's been completed, so I think they're just waiting to announce it officially now. So we've lost Laura. We've got Miri Taylor from Liverpool. Now, I don't know much about her. I know she was in the US for a little bit and she's been at Liverpool. But again, rumour that should be completed, but ideally we would have liked another 2 or 3 through the door, in addition to Noelle Moritz as well. But yeah, the injuries we've got, we haven't done enough business, to be honest. So it's going to be an interesting second half of the season to see what we can do and where we'll end up, really.
Stay positive. My fingers are crossed for you.
Thanks.
Moving on to the next game. So we have Everton 0. I lost my bearings then. Leicester 1. I just don't know what happened with me then. Danny, what were your thoughts on this game? Were you expecting this result?
Yeah, good win for Leicester. 2 quite evenly matched sides, actually. Willie Kirk obviously beating his old team as well at Everton. Everton had quite a good chance that early on. Rika Madsen, who's recently joined them, had a chance. She just skied over. She was almost one of those that was almost easier to score than it was to miss it, but she skied it. And then Janice Cayman at the other end, lovely goal, lovely little spin and a finish from her. So really good result for Leicester. So I watched them against Villa last week, and they started to come more and more into the game in that game. So they've definitely got a lot more about them this season than they did last season. They were battling relegation, and I just think this kind of result again they wouldn't have got last season. They wouldn't have been able to grind it out, and they're showing a real steel about them this season that they can go to these places and be confident and to go and win. Everton didn't have any shots on target for the whole game. They only had 37% possession, and they seem to be struggling a little bit, Everton, in terms of getting goals and attacking and causing problems for teams. But on the other hand, really, really good result for Leicester because they're carrying on their upgrade from last season. It's a small step, but it's a step that's actually really big in terms of where they've come from. They're nowhere near the relegation zone this season. So for them to go and get this result is a cracking result.
Definitely. And just on the subject of Everton as well, I think they're losing a few players, aren't they? I think in our group chat, hasn't one gone as well?
Yeah, Megan Campbell's gone. Yeah, short-term contract's finished, yeah.
Really struggling, aren't they, Everton, at the minute? Really struggling, like, with players and stuff. Anybody else want to add anything on this game or the clubs?
I mean, I think Danny was saying Leicester are really going for it.
Yeah.
This person is why. There's Simon in the chat, you're going to shout at me because Leicester shirt, but she's a Coventry girl, so I'm going to rep her all the time. Getting Shannon O'Brien back has been massive for them because I saw the stat somewhere that she plays as a winger and she has the most tackles in the WSL. Like the work rate that she has. She's key to them, and the players they've signed, the Japanese players they've signed as well. There's good things happening in Leicester, and I think a lot of it doesn't get mentioned because of the way everybody focuses on the big teams. But Leicester, Villa as well, and Spurs are really doing stuff like in that, and Liverpool in that level just below, and we're starting to see the fruits of that now.
It's quite exciting as well, isn't it? As you mentioned, like at the minute, and all these other clubs, obviously, not a lot of people see it because they focus more on like your Chelseas, your Arsenals, and stuff. But it is really exciting to see these other teams grow and grow. Yeah,
I mean, Bristol City. I think Bristol West Ham is the next game that we're talking about.
Yeah,
they're bottom of the WSL, and they're getting 6,000, 7,000 people in a week. You know, everyone focuses on the work the big teams are doing, and it's great to see, you know, the Emirates sold out 30,000 at Stamford Bridge, whatever. But it's probably relatively easy to get 30,000 people to see Chelsea at Stamford Bridge with the players. It's probably relatively easy to get people to go and watch Beth Mead, Leslie Russo, whoever. It's more difficult to get people to go and watch a team who have got a good chance of losing every week and don't really have a lot of players with that name recognition, and they're still getting 6,000-7,000 people in.
Yeah,
they've lost all 6 games as well at home, haven't they? So to keep them coming back time and again is one thing to get them in for kind of one-off, but the fact they're all coming back week after week is really impressive. And it says, like, even if they do go down, that's a really solid base of a club to build on.
100%. It's absolutely brilliant.
I've got some breaking news as well, by the way. It might be in a minute.
I like breaking news.
West Ham have just tweeted out a picture of a Sweden flag over a stool saying, "Don't worry, we've had one in the bag all along, so we might get a transfer while we're on the air."
Oh, nice.
So Swedish flag, so place your bets on who that's going to be.
What, over a stall or a storm?
Over a stool. A stool, sorry. It's like like you get in a stand-up comedy gig. You have a table or a stool in the middle of it. I'm not quite sure what it is, but there's definitely a Sweden flag draped over it.
Interesting.
That's a weird clue.
Obviously, just on West Ham as well. Bristol City 1, West Ham 2. What were your thoughts on this game, Paul? Were you expecting that result?
On form, yes.
Yeah.
Like that's the way the game probably should have gone. But it's another 1-goal loss for Bristol City. It's just they keep having them.
Yeah.
And let's, if they go down, the number of points that they've dropped from drawing and winning positions, they're just going to look back going, for a few of those 1-goal losses become draws. West Ham as well. Katrina Gorry doing Katrina Gorry things on a debut, straight in, yellow card, Australian Katie McCabe. That kind of combative midfielder that does that they need as well. And actually, the second goal scorer for West Ham, Viviane Asseyi, she's another player who just doesn't get kind of the talk. If she was playing for a bigger club, there'd be a lot more people talking about her. And like West Ham signing players like Christy Mewis and Katrina Gorry is great, because a couple of years ago they'd have been the players going to Chelsea, Arsenal, whoever. Now we're starting to see the clubs start to put the money in, a bit more talent come in, and fingers crossed with Nuco, if Nuco start bringing in, measures to bring in production, because Nikki Doucet is an American, so she'll look at American leagues and things like team salary caps and stuff like that, and she might start thinking, well, this is our league, we can do what we want. If we want the league to grow, if we put a salary cap of say 6 million for a squad of 20, and then say to teams, right, okay, yeah, you can do the rumoured thing of paying Leslie Russo £1 million a year, but you then only got 5 million for 20 other players. So it adds an extra thing, and then you start seeing players moving around, and then it'll really start to get interesting. And I think we might see teams like West Ham really encouraged to sign more players like Christy Mewis and Katrina Gorry, and then that's when the WSL will really get interesting.
Completely agree with that. 100%. Going to the chat as well, Alad has put about Wrexham. Wrexham women have confirmed that they are going to be in the top 4 for the second half of the season, in which the season splits, so now safe from the relegation zone. So that's really good for Alad, who is our Wrexham fan. And on the list as well, I didn't notice this on the fixture list, but only one home win in all of that list for all away wins with the fixtures. I didn't even notice. And I'm sorry, Freya, with that home win. You're rubbing it in, aren't you? Moving on as well. Tottenham 0, Manchester City 2. Danny, what were your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, City again, clicking into gear. They've got to keep on going. They've got to keep on Chelsea's coattails. They probably can't afford any more slip-ups now, probably similar to Arsenal, who we'll talk about later. They're 3 points behind them, so they've got to just keep on winning. Massive blow beforehand with Jill Roord's been ruled out with an ACL. Again, another one. I think I saw a stat earlier today that says you can name an 11 already that are missing with ACL injuries from the start of this calendar year, which is nuts. It shows the extent of the issue. But yeah, that's going to be a huge miss for them. They've obviously, Freya was talking about them looking to bring in Laura Bill-Brown from Villa before 11 o'clock tonight. So they've got 2 hours to get that done. Not sure if we trust the Villa paperwork person at the minute, but maybe that might not go through.
That's a clip. Clip that.
I'll get some bites.
We're just piling on Freya today. Sorry, Freya. I'll bring it back.
That's fine.
But this one, yeah, City just being City, they're still kind of clicking into gear. Bunny Shaw, again, scoring goal after goal of the goals. Is absolutely on fire. Hat-trick last weekend, scored again for this one. And City just keeping on the pressure. Fairly comfortable win for them against Spurs. They might have one or two things to deal with over the coming months. Lauren Hemp's not signed a contract yet for City, so that's one that they've got to sort out, because I know Barca are circulating them to try and get her in, and you just see Lauren Hemp, you think that's a great typical Barcelona player, so that'll be interesting to watch. I don't think anything's going to happen tonight with that, but it's one of those you've got to sort out the contract sooner rather than later, because we're getting so many players leave the WSL to go and explore overseas now, which is exciting for them, but obviously it'll be a massive loss for the league, and so hopefully that's not the case. But in terms of City as a whole, really good win. They've just got to keep on going.
Definitely.
West Ham have announced their signing.
Okay.
Marika Bergman-Lundin, the Swede.
Nice.
Yeah, very good. Is she from Hacken? Let me investigate. From Hacken, yeah.
Oh, nice. It's good to see them strengthening as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
just on this game as well, from a Spurs point of view, how do you think their season's going so far? This is open to anybody, and what kind of can we expect from Spurs this season? Because they seem to be doing better, don't they? They really do seem to be a bit of a threat.
I love Spurs. Like, maybe like Robert Villaham is just. We talk about certain managers' approaches, and we talk about certain managers. Robert Villaham is like the opposite of that. Like, you can tell when the way he talks about his players, there's real affection and support there. Like, he was asked recently. It struck me he was asked recently about how he'd deal with Martha Thomas and Beth England coming back, and then how we deal with Spurs now having a squad where it isn't, a set starting 11 practically. And he said it's all about communication. You've got to make everybody feel valued, and that's the thing that I believe in doing. If I'm not playing a player, I will explain to them exactly why, and I will explain to them in a way that makes them feel valued, rather than just going, you're not that good. And just he just strikes me as a manager who could really build something at Spurs, like really properly. If he's given support by the board, he could really he could really build something. And I think going from 7-0 loss to 2-0 loss in a week, he's clearly come off that game and learned, and that's Spurs are in good hands. I think there's a really good feeling in the club at the moment.
Yeah, I think Spurs as a whole as well. Obviously, it's really nice to see the women's team, and I don't want to bring the men's team into it as well. But I just feel like there's a real good feel about Spurs at the minute. Obviously, Big. I can't say his last name, so I call him Big Ange. So obviously, in with the men's team, and then obviously the women's team as well. I just think there's a really good aura at the minute around Spurs, which is really nice to see. But yeah, it's really good to see them doing so well. We've got in a chat as well. We've got Chris who's put good evening. Graham and Chris having a little bit of a chat together. We have got Chris as well who's put, for Spennymoor Town ladies, they were 2-0 down away to Alric Town ladies, but won 3-2 in the end. Definitely finishing top half in the WSL Premier Division. I think I got that right. I'm not the best at reading anyway because my eyes are terrible. In their first season. Oh, it's really good how everyone comes in and speaks about their ladies' teams as well. I really like that. Moving on as well. Next fixture. Liverpool 0, Arsenal 2. Paul, what were your thoughts on this game?
Viv Miedemar's back.
Yes, come on.
That I make, we had the Tony Duggan fan club come on here last time with the Everton fans. I make no apologies for how much I love watching Vivian Miedemar. She's almost otherworldly. Like, the game is better with her in it because she just drifts. She's like a shark, and then she'll just appear and she comes back for her first start and then hammers in a 30-yarder like that. And just seeing that, obviously they got Leah Williamson back for the Conti Cup in the week, which was lovely as well. Even cynical, scarred old me seeing Williamson come on and Katie McCabe come running over to give her her armband before she got 3 steps onto the pitch. I'm like, that was a lovely moment. Like, and Liverpool can take solace from it as well because Liverpool really run Arsenal close. I was looking something up, and 5 of the last 6 games have been decided by 1 goal. So actually, Arsenal did better than they normally do against Liverpool, and obviously got revenge for the opening day of the season. But just Viv Miedemar coming back is huge for Arsenal, and I think that is she out of contract in the summer? I've got a feeling she's out of contract in the summer. I don't know whether Danny and Freya will know this one for sure, but I've just
sure.
I think
for some reason I know she'd signed an extension, but for some reason I want to say it was only for a year. And if it is, then they've got a decision to make this summer because they've brought in a lot of new players, and find she and Russo playing together, I'm still not convinced by. They're both fantastic individual players, but I'm still not convinced by them playing. I think they occupy the same space on the field.
Yeah.
And I think that against teams like Man City, that will be a problem. With all due respect to teams like Liverpool, if Russo is having an off game, she got an assist, so she didn't have that, if that's an off game, then flipping heck. But it's just interesting watching the pair of them. It's something my brain keeps looking at and going, is this going to be a situation going down the line? But Emily Fox as well, stepping in, getting an assist on her debut as well at right back. That seems to have solved the one minor problem position Arsenal had. So they and Man City are going to be interesting as well, chasing Chelsea.
Yeah, 100%. I was just looking on at the league table on my phone, and it's really close, isn't it, really? And you think some of the players Arsenal are getting back as well.
Yeah, it's, Williamson to me during the Conti Cup as well. She was straight back on, ball over the top for a Beth Mead volley.
Yeah.
It's ominous. It's ominous. If you're Emma Hayes at Chelsea, you're looking at that and you're looking at Man City and going, maybe we need to step up our game a bit in the second half. We can't have any more moments like them like when they lost 4-1. It's Chelsea have got to be absolutely on their game for the rest of the season if they're going to retain the title.
Definitely. Speaking of Chelsea as well, last but not least, we have Brighton 0, Chelsea 3. I'll start with you first, Freya. What are your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I remember watching this one and thinking, Brighton this season, they're out to prove a point. They've got a new identity about them. They feel really stronger than they've ever been. And I think Liz Turland, she's second, I think, in highest goal scorer this season. But again, no one's really talking about her because she's at Brighton. But yeah, I think she's phenomenal. And I think, trying to remember now, she had a couple of shots and it was so unlucky that they couldn't actually get more out of that game. But I think they did phenomenally well to keep it 0-0 till half time. They were really strong. And I thought, Chelsea are actually, they're having to work a bit harder to actually get near the goal, which was brilliant for any team to be able to do that. Because we've seen Chelsea completely decimate many a team, Villa included. But you just know Chelsea are the type of team that they always find a way to win. And so you knew coming out in that second half they were going to attack, and attack they did, because Lauren James is just otherworldly, isn't she? She just the fact that the ball can just be somewhere near her feet and it will find the back of the net is incredible. So yeah, as soon as her two went in, it was okay. How many are going to get past now? The floodgates are opened, and it was really nice to see Frank Kerber getting a header as well, getting back on the score sheet, because I think her confidence has been knocked quite a bit recently. So I think anything to help her kind of get back to her prime was phenomenal. So yeah, but Brighton, considering everything, I think they did a really good job. But I think it just comes down to Chelsea are that extra something above, and they've got the depth of squad, they've got their pace, they've got the quality to keep them going for that 90 minutes. But yeah, Brighton should be proud of that performance. Yeah.
Just in the chat as well, we have Simon. He's put, Chelsea are going to win all the competitions they're in and send Emma Hayes off to the USA on a high, in his opinion. Do we all agree, or do you reckon there's people who can beat Chelsea? I don't think the league's 100% Chelsea's. Like we said, there's Manchester City, there's obviously Arsenal. I'm not 100% convinced. Don't get me wrong. There's still, is it 3 points? 3 points ahead, but...
Yeah, it's hard to know. It's hhard to kind of go against what the story is. Is it with Emma Hayes leaving? It feels like it's there for her. The story's there, but they've signed Mayra Ramirez this week as well for a British record fee of €450 million. That they can just go out and do that to try and replace some of what Sam Kerr was giving them. I personally don't think they needed it yet. It feels like it's potentially a deal that was on the table already. They just brought it forward a little bit and they've dropped it in now. But to bring in a player of that quality as well, she's not quite as on Kerr's level, but it's still another amazing player. She's done some great stuff with Colombia in the World Cup. that you just think, yeah, it's another player, and the City and Arsenal would be looking on thinking, we thought we were in for, we thought we were in the chance. We've got to step it up again. And the City and Arsenal have essentially got to be perfect from now to the end of the season, whereas Chelsea can probably afford one not so good result. And as long as that doesn't come against one of City or Arsenal themselves, then they'll probably be okay. But it's going to be really interesting. I'm excited for it.
Let's have a quick look at the table as well. So, yeah, at the top, we do have Chelsea on 31 points, but behind them in second and third, obviously, Manchester City and Arsenal, both on 28 points. Like, it's anyone's really, isn't it?
I think that's the top three.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then, obviously, we've got Manchester United in fourth on 21 points. Do you reckon Liverpool or Spurs could kind of catch up with United? Because they're a bit inconsistent, aren't they, Manchester United? Or do you think they will get fourth place?
I think Liverpool could surprise people if they keep pushing the way they can. But also Spurs as well. I think those next three will be, again, interchangeable until the end of the game.
And then obviously seventh, we have Leicester on 13 points, Aston Villa at 8th on 12 points, Everton 9th on 11 points, Brighton obviously just below them on 11 points, and then we have West Ham who are 11th on 8 points, and Bristol City, bless them, they are bottom on 5 points. Do we reckon Bristol City will be at the bottom come the end of the season, or do you reckon one of the other teams may be dragged down into it?
It's hard to. Yeah, you're right. We really want them to, because they're showing a lot of heart, aren't they, this season? So you want them to, but I just can't see it.
I'm going to annoy a few of our fellow panelists. I think Everton could get dragged down there.
No, I thought that,
they don't find goals.
No, I completely agree with you there, Paul.
Because they were so unlucky at the weekend.
Yeah.
It's just not falling for them, is it? So, yeah, possibly. Even Villa, as much as I hate to say it, if they don't start finding some results, they could easily, because there's nothing in that at all. So I
think that 8th, 9th, 10th group are probably very thankful. There's 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. They're probably very thankful there's only one relegation place in the WSL.
Yeah.
Because I think if there was two, you'd really be looking at going Brighton, Everton, Villa are really looking over their shoulders, because West Ham are starting to find their form now.
Very, very close. Very close. I just hope Bristol City can find something in them to, like, obviously, like we mentioned, they've not been picking up the results, but they've not been that far off, really, have they? So I just hope they can kind of build some momentum and maybe make it a little bit more interesting. Bless them.
Their best bet is the teams above taking points off each other.
Yeah.
That's what they need to start happening. Like, because all those teams above them will take points off each other. If they can start picking up gritty draws, not even wins, just the odd gritty draw over the next 10 games or so. If they can get 3 or 4 draws, suddenly the pressure is going to start to go on transfer back on the teams above them.
Definitely. Just going to the chat as well, we have Chris and he has put, 3 points, still really close between the 3 teams at the top. He's also put as well, looking at the WSL fixtures this weekend, Chelsea are at home to Everton, Man City versus Leicester, and Arsenal away to West Ham. Some quite tasty fixtures there, but Everton, Chelsea, you just kind of...
I think West Ham will fancy that, you know.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I think West Ham with their January signings will look at Arsenal and go, well, if we get the first one, if we get the Meadow Park crowd to start turning on in the way that Liverpool did at the start of the season, then we'll see what happens.
100%. It'd be really interesting that in the chat as well. Aled, would they ever consider extending the amount of teams in the league, or is this how it will continuously be like?
Yeah, I think they've said that it's going to stay the same at the moment, aren't they, Nico? but I can only see if the quality keeps going up and up. There's no reason why not to. I think it's a weird kind of thing with Nuco about how it works. I'm not really sure what they can do yet or what they will do yet. It's probably going to be a slower process for that to happen, but hopefully, yeah, because it makes it a bit more exciting, doesn't it? If anything else.
Definitely. Moving on now, we will cover some of the championship games. So first of all, Blackburn 0, Sunderland 2. You can be a Sunderland fan in you now, Freya. You can have your happy moment. Speak to us about that game.
Yeah, a positive moment. You know what Sunderland have done really well this season is just like their fight, their ability to bounce back, and just kind of, you know, most teams would take a 7-0 defeat and, you know, maybe be a bit down for a couple of days or whatever, but they, you know, they've come straight back and gone, you know what, that was then. They were a WSL team that was completely different. Let's focus on our championship, and they did really well. I think both goals, I think the second one was actually a deflection back off the keeper, but everything counts to go in. But yeah, it was a fantastic win on the road, and I think what a fantastic confidence boost for the team. And I think they've now gone back up to second in the championship. But again, there's only, because I know we talked about it last time, didn't we? There's only a point in it. So Charlton are first on 29 and Sunderland are second with 28. And it's yeah, so every single point counts. So if they can just keep doing what they're doing, keep that fantastic can't even think of the word, but yeah, they just keep doing what they're doing. And yeah, they're making everyone proud, and their attendances are going up and up. And I think just getting people in the community involved, because it is such a, like we were saying before, especially with Bristol, like there are people there who will be there week in, week out, regardless of whether they're winning or not. And that's the true football community that you love to be a part of. So yeah, if they just keep going, I can't see why they can't be fighting for that promotion place, to be honest.
Oh, I love that as well. And Ant's been saying as well, because he's getting so frustrated at the minute with the men's team. Sunderland women is literally his go-to. So on the podcast the other day, he was like, I'm just going to go and watch Sunderland women because the men's team and the manager at the minute is just really getting to him. Bless him. But he absolutely loves it. And it's so good to see.
Yeah, when Sunderland as a town or city, I don't even know. City. As a city, when Sunderland as a city has something to get behind as well, like men's and women's team, it really comes alive. That the football, the clubs, everything up to that city, aren't they? The fans get so behind them, and it's so like when one of their teams is going for promotion, you get that such a great feeling around the city. So this is going to be massive for the city if they do go up, I think. And I feel like it's the type where if Sunderland do go up, they'll stay there just because the pull of the crowds and everything, the passion behind it. Then, you know, I really want them to do it because I just love to see them up there.
I'm just giggling to myself with these comments. Everyone's going at Anne. Bless him. We all love Ant, don't we? Yes. Next, we have Birmingham 1, London City 0. Paul, what's your thoughts on that one?
Birmingham are still hanging around. You know, I genuinely, I'll hold my hands up. I thought when Jade Pennick was injured, I'm like, that will be the bit where they start to fall away a bit, because Jade Pennick is huge for them. But they just keep getting out these little 1-0 wins. They never do anything glamorous. You know, you've got Crystal Palace winning 9-0. You've got Charlton going out, beating teams heavily. But Birmingham just keep plodding along. They keep right on, as their song says. And yeah, like that game, they scored after 7 minutes and not a huge amount happened for the rest of the game. They just got on with it. And London City have a team who are throwing a lot of money. Like they obviously getting hold of Meg Campbell off Everton. That is a big move for someone like Meg Campbell, you know, Irish international, to go from Everton to the team who are sat 10th in the championship, just outside the relegation places. They're really going for it with some of the players they've signed, because obviously they've got new owners who also own Lyon, the Lyon women's team. And Birmingham City just turned around and went, right, okay, you're the new kids on the block, but you're coming to St Andrews, and we're just going to do a professional performance, and we're going to keep in touch with the teams above us, with the teams around us. And they're just, they're a former WSL team. They're like Sunderland. They want to get back up there.
Yeah.
Got a proud women's football history. And particularly with the issues around the men's team, which is a Coventry City fan I find absolutely hilarious. But I do wonder whether they're going to be the big bright spot, and they're going to start really kind of pulling people in, because I saw Johnny say in the chat, the atmosphere at St Andrews is starting to build as well. And if it gets towards the end of the season, you've got 5 big clubs with passionate fan bases there who could potentially really kind of engage their men's fan bases, and then things really start to get interesting.
Definitely. I'm just looking at the table as well. It is quite close at the top. I know we'll look at it in a couple of minutes, but it's really close, isn't it? And just touching on London City as well, I know you mentioned, obviously, they've signed another player. They are 10th currently with 12 points. Do you think there's any, do you think they could get dragged into the relegation, or do you think they'll pull themselves out of it, because they are only 3 points in front of Lewis and Watford?
They could easily get sucked in, because Lewis have a game in hand on them for a start. Watford have got some very good players. They got a huge win up against Durham at the weekend, which we'll talk about shortly.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'll look at London City, and they're like the MK Dons, but without really.
I was going to say that.
even the fan base of the MK Dons.
Yeah.
Like it sounds harsh, but they're very much a club without a real culture, a shell of a club, but they're kind of a blank slate of a club. Yeah. Because they used to be Millwall, but then they split. And just, if you ask even people who watch the Championship, if you ask them about London City, they just turn around and kind of go, yeah, well, they're just kind of there.
Yeah.
There's no feelings towards them either way. And I think clubs like Lewis and Watford have got their really passionate fan bases who will drive them forward in the big games. And that's the bit where I start thinking, we talk about the power of fandom. That's the bit where I think Lewis and Watford have the advantage.
Yeah, definitely. It made me laugh at MK Don's reference, because everyone in this chat now on my lower league show always comments about MK Dons and they hate them so much. So that just really made me laugh. That's like Simon's foot. His foot saying MK and Dons together should be classed as swearing. Just going back to the chat as well, Aled has put, would make the games more interesting with more fans attending the games. You look at Arsenal having women's games at the Emirates and getting big crowds. Johnny as well said they had I'm on the wrong one. Everyone's typing too quick. I can't keep up. Johnny said that they had a few chances. I think that was the Birmingham match. Chris as well said Freya, also the Sunderland ladies under 23s are doing really well. 9 wins out of 9 in their league.
Yeah, and some fantastic youth coming through in the future. Honestly, I'm really excited for the future of Sunderland.
I love that. Oh, love that. Mr. Luke as well, talking about Ant, he's put, Ant went to see Sunderland women's game instead of a Sunderland versus Stoke, but he might have made a mistake of not going to Sunderland versus Stoke, as Sunderland won 3-0. And he's not even on the podcast tomorrow to talk about the win. He only comes on when they lose, bless him. Bless him. Let's go back to the chat as well. Yeah. MK franchise, this is the usual. BTEC Gateshead FC, and in the chat as well, Johnny has put, Paul, do you think they will miss Lily Ag? Oh, I think Paul's froze, bless him. I don't want to move on just in case he's speaking.
Refresh,
Right.
Paul, refresh.
I know. I think we've lost Paul for the time being, so we will move on to which game are we on to? Is it Crystal Palace 0, Charlton 1?
Yep.
It was asking about that one. Was it you, Danny?
Yeah, that was me. I think.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. That was me.
No, don't worry. I completely forgot.
I love this. I love a good subplot with the game as well. This is London Derby, but also Laura Kaminsky, the Palace manager, was assistant at Charlton last season. So there's all sorts of things going on in the background of this game. But for Charlton to come out on top with a win, again, as it is at the moment with the 4 or 5 teams in there, as soon as you beat one of them, you're right up there, and it's such a big advantage to get 3 points over one of your rivals for the title, for the one place that there is. So to Charlton to go away against Palace, also to keep a clean sheet, because Palace are scoring all kinds of goals, and so many, like, they've got a massively sort of exciting front line. Elise Hughes, Annabelle Blanchard, Isabel Goodwin. They've got really good players going forward. They always score by the sounds of it, but they haven't in this one, and Charlton have clinched it. So really, really good result for Charlton to take them top of the league. For Palace, they've just signed today Abby Larkin from Glasgow City for an undisclosed fee, so that'll help them even more going forward. It feels like they just want to bomb forward as much as they can and don't care about defensive. So they're the team that I think I tipped to go up. So this is a massive blow to my prediction, which was expected, I've got to say. So they're probably going to go down now, to be fair. I really expected them, just the way they play and the attacking intent that they show. I really enjoy watching them, but this is a real blow for them.
It makes me laugh in the chat as well. Johnny, bless him, is like our very own Jim White, isn't he? Coming in with all the deadline news.
Yeah.
Bless him. I hope you sat at home with a yellow tie on, Johnny. Graham in the chat as well. He's actually a Charlton fan as well, so he's absolutely buzzing at the minute because the men's team are letting him down. So he's been following the women's team as well, and obviously be smashing it.
I was first hand to see their men's team being let down on the other Tuesday night when we beat them 3-2, which was a glorious night. So that was exciting.
Oh, funny. He has put scary moment with Freya Godfrey during the game, though thankfully she's okay.
Yeah, really scary that was.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite a long stoppage for that. So yeah, thankfully she's doing okay. But yeah, I wish her all the best for sure.
Yeah, so do all of us. Just before you crashed as well, Paul, Johnny did ask you a question.
He did. He asked about Lily Ag.
Yeah.
Okay, am I back?
You're back.
I'm back. Good. Sorry about that.
Don't worry.
Yeah, Lily Ag's an Irish international. She's quietly a really, really good player, and I think when you lose anyone that good, from your midfield, that you'll notice it. And I don't know. I have a feeling about London City just kind of starting to drop. They look like, how you have some teams who throw money at it and it works and they go climbing up the table, and then you get some teams. Unfortunately, the Sky Blues were one of those in their last season in the Premier League back when I was about 17. Signed loads of players in January, threw money at it, still went down, never really recovered. And London City feel like that.
Yeah. They
just feel like a team. They have, everyone at the club is working really hard, but they've just got nothing around them. If they went down, brutally put, not that many people would care as a fan base, because they haven't got that much of a fan base. They wouldn't be that missed, and that they need to start building that, and they need to start having more people caring about them.
Yeah.
But I think with the owner of the Olympic Lyon Women and Washington Spirit, they've probably got the best possible owner to do that. So if they can survive this season, then we'll see what happens.
It's one of them as well. If it were to go down, who would we call every week? That's what I think like on my lower league one. It's who would we actually slag off every week if he went down? That's why I'm half hoping the AFC Fylde stay up in the National League.
Well, there's always a certain Man United manager.
That is true. If he stays, he
Just love it.
might be going at some point.
Mark Skinner's not even safe in the championship, chap. Bless him.
I know. We can always make time to call him, can't we? Graham has put, this podcast has got me interested enough that I'm going to the Oakwood on Sunday to watch the Charlton women game. Aw, love to hear that.
Take a Coke, Graham, because the Oakwood. I've done commentary at the Oakwood, and to say it is 3 sheds and a field. Like it's your proper lower league ground. It's lovely. It's got its character to it, but I hope Charlton move to the Valley as quickly as possible. I think that's what they need to do to really get the crowds up.
This in the chat. Graham's also put, I'm also tempted to watch London City game at Dartford just to see what it feels like at a home game for them.
He'd double the attendance.
Bring some friends, Graham. They'll have the biggest crowd yet. I can't even call anyone. I'm a Rochdale fan. Why am I getting involved? Next up, we have Durham 0, Watford 2. Freya, what were your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that one, to be honest, because Durham are quite happy. I think, what are they, 6th? Yeah, 6th. So again, they've been plodding along. Usually they've finished a bit higher than that, usually around the top spots, but because of how tight it's at the top, I think 6th for kind of how they've been performing is a fair reflection on where they are. But just a massive shout out to, Michelle Adjuman, because what a talented young player she is. And the fact that she was involved in both goals and just her power, her speed, her everything. So, Arsenal have got a really good academy product on their hands there. So, yeah, she's definitely one to watch for the future. But if Watford keep pulling off surprises like that, maybe they can scrape themselves out of that relegation battle, but still a long way to go yet for them. But yeah, I think the fact that they surprised everyone, and I was just looking, they've won 2 games this season, and that was one of them. So if they can come back from this and keep it, there could be a scrap for the top and the bottom by the end of the season, I think.
I want to say, sorry, Danny, I want to say fingers crossed, but my heart's with Lewis again. They're like my little adopted team now since coming on this show. I just love Lewis. So I want to say fingers crossed, but then half of me is like, no, because then Lewis will probably get dropped down into it. So I don't know. Sorry, Danny. I'll let you speak now.
I was just going to go on the join the Adjuman fan club. She was immense, and I think she's been injured a little bit this season, so she hasn't really been able to play or have an impact. So it'll be a little bit like a new signing for her. Yeah. And she, like Freya said, she was just immense at the weekend. So if she can carry on that, she I don't want to sort of big her up too much, bit like before time, but the way that she controls the game and the way that she sort of glides through it and has so much power, she does remind me a little bit of Lauren James in the fact that she just makes everything look so easy, and she can dominate games like she did here, and she can almost single-handedly drag them out of it. So I'd be really interested to see second half of the season, if she's fully fit, what impact that has on the rest of the season. She was brilliant.
Obviously, talking about the bottom of the league as well, and I mentioned, I'll let you talk about it, Danny. Lewis 2, Reading 2. It feels like when you're at the bottom of the league, nothing goes your way, does it? And everything just goes against you, and I just feel like this is happening to them. Bless them.
Oh, this was such a good game. This is my game of the weekend. This weekend, I mean, Lewis 2-0 up, flying. They're trying to close the gap at the bottom of the table. There was a couple of mistakes for their goals as well from the Reading keeper, the Reading defence, and the keeper's made up for it a few seconds later with a good save. Reading have come back 2 goals in the last 10 minutes. It's just the type of thing that happens when you're down there and you've played really well. There's a great atmosphere at Lewis as well, and everything seemed to be going for them. As soon as Reading scored that goal, it seemed to the atmosphere just gets that little bit nervous because 3 points is so big for them at the minute. And as soon as Reading scored that 1 goal, it got nervous, and right on cue, they scored injury time to make it 2-2. Then Reading had a player sent off right at the end, second bookable offence, I think it was. And then Lewis went up the other end and had one cleared off the line, and just all those things that just aren't dropping from. And you just want it so badly from that. You want that late one to go in just to make it a proper 3-2 ding dong. But they'll be reasonably okay with a point, but just to come away with it with a draw after all that, and to have that last chance as well right at the end, they're going to be so gutted. And you just hope it doesn't affect them too much in terms of like mentally, because you're so close to a win at home against a team that you can be expected to pick up points against. If you can see that late on, it's so hard to bring yourself back up again the next game, no matter who you're playing. So, fingers crossed for them that they'll take the positives from it, but absolutely gutting from. But what a game.
Definitely. I feel like Paul said before, though, the thing is with Lewis as well, they're quite a well-supported club, aren't they? And they do have that fan base who go and watch the men, who go and watch the women as well. So I feel like even though they are maybe knocked down the players, at least they will have them behind them.
Yeah.
Which is really good. So, yeah. I just love them so much. I just kind of took it upon myself to support them, I think. They just seem like a really good club, and we've mentioned it before, haven't we, with the right values, and yeah, I really like them. I don't want to see them go down. Has anybody else got anything to add on that game?
I'm trying to find out who that game in hand is Lewis have got. I'm just running through the fixture lists, and it might be the big one that I'm looking at is now for Lewis is 3rd of March. They've got Sheffield United. Sheffield United are down there. I think that could be a big 6-pointer.
Yeah.
It's going to be so interesting though with Lewis coming and Watford coming as well. It's not like the Bristol City situation where you can kind of identify Bristol City as the one that will probably go down. This is like a proper race at both ends of the table. Championship's where it's at, basically. If you want drama for the second half.
I was going to say, this is so much more exciting, the championship. Yeah. Should we just do a championship show? I'm joking. Obviously, last but not least as well, I'll come to you to speak about this one, Paul. We have Sheffield United 0, Southampton 1. What were your thoughts on this one?
I actually watched this one and commentated on it, and let's just say it won't live long in the memory.
I'm sorry I've given it you again then.
It was a game where Southampton came out of the blocks and absolutely dominated for the first 10 minutes, and their goal was just coming. And then it kind of stopped. Southampton kind of got their goal and then almost backed off. Sheffield United had a run of pressure, just couldn't find anything. There wasn't really any major chances from either side, and it was the classic game because Southampton are obviously up there in that 5. It was a classic game where Southampton will clearly have gone, let's just turn up, get the result, and get out of here. There were no frills to it whatsoever. But it's just interesting with everything around Sheffield United because with all the off-field stuff going on around Sheffield United, they just feel like there's something strange there. Because they didn't do any press after the game, which was apparently a club decision. There's all sorts of FA investigations and stuff going on. But on the pitch, it's almost business as usual, and it's almost like they're just trying not to acknowledge it. And there you go. I've just seen that in the chat. Freya spotting Benfica beating Barca. Drama in the Champions League.
I can't go up. Lucy Bronze. Lucy. Yeah, I'm just having a bit of a meltdown. Sorry.
That Poppy Pritchard signing for Man City is huge because she's a player and a half. She is.
They've all been chasing her, haven't they? All the big clubs.
Yeah. she's got like an endorsement deal with Nike at like 17 and all sorts of stuff. She's people talking about her as a wonder kid. So it'll be interesting to see how much game time she gets with Man City the rest of the season, or whether has she been loaned back to Durham, because that's what they tend to do with these young players, or has she just moved?
No, it says she's going to leave Durham for a 3.5-year deal.
So just yeah.
So it's saying that she's leaving. So I mean, the loan possibly, because she's getting first team minutes, isn't she? So it'd be a shame to put her on a bench and not use her. But yeah, I can only see one source for that at the minute for Poppy Pritchard. So
unless that was the backup plan, because they haven't got Blinkilda Brown for whatever reason.
Oh, because that.
So we've only got an hour left.
See, we've got an hour and 20 minutes for everything to come up now. We'll go ahead.
Just looking as well. Oh, sorry, guys, I'm losing my voice. Looking at the table, so we have Charlton at the top. Graham will be happy. They have 29 points, and then Sunderland are second on 28 points. In third, we have Southampton on 27 points. Birmingham are fourth on 26 points. Then we have Palace in fifth. They have 24 points. There's a bit of a gap then, isn't there, from obviously Durham in sixth, who have been on 18 points. Seventh spot, we have Blackburn on 15 points. Sheffield United are 8th on 14 points. Reading are 9th. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. Are 9th on 12 points. London City are 10th on the same points. And then the bottom makes me so sad. In 11th, we have Lewis on 9 points, but they do have a game in hand, like Paul said, so I'm keeping the faith. And then we have bottom of the league, Watford, who are also on 9 points.
I do wonder if that game in hand is actually the one against Sheffield United.
Yeah.
For some reason, I have a feeling it might be, because part of me wants to say that might have been the game that happened when Maddie Cusack passed away and that was postponed. Or was that Crystal Palace? It might have been Palace, one of the two. But Lewis have got Charlton this weekend, so we're all rooting against you, Graham. Sorry.
Oh, come on, Lewis. Sorry, Graham. You're used to losing, no. Sorry. With your men's team. I feel bad now. It just came out. That was like word vomit. Sorry, Graham. You know we love you, really. But just before we go, has anybody got any more transfer news?
No, not yet.
Nothing.
I've been keeping an eye on it, but I can't see anything else. No teasers or anything yet. So we'll see.
I
We'll
was
see
surprised that Angara James has gone over to Seattle. I wasn't expecting that one from Spurs.
I wonder if Amy Turner will follow her.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah,
because the pair of them being married, obviously they tend to follow each other, and Amy Turner hasn't really been getting minutes at Spurs, so
yeah,
it's more surprising that they let Angara James go, because Robert Villahan really liked her. Apparently, he was playing her all over the place, so that could be a late one.
There's still time. Lindsay.
Graham, bless him. But yeah, that's it for our show. I mean, that flew by. That really did fly by. But I will let you all go, because obviously there is an interesting hour and 15 minutes, is it? We've got left of a transfer window. So yeah, I will let you all go very soon. But first of all, Danny, where can everybody find you if they want a bit more Danny in their life?
No one wants that, but if you want any more of us, if for whatever reason you want to listen to all about Northampton Town and their travails in League One, including an excellent 3-2 win over Charlton, I'll get it in again, Graham, a couple of weeks ago. That's at Cobblers to me on all the usual podcasty things, the technical term for it, and socials.
Love it. Just before we go as well, our very own Sam has come in and put, great show, everyone. Have a great evening, everybody. Paul, where can everybody find you?
I am Which side do we point? There you go.
Love
So
it.
probably. Oh, have I gone again?
No, you're
There we
there.
go.
You're
No,
back.
still there.
You're
Is that me back again, or have I gone?
Yeah, you're back.
I'm still here. Good.
Can't find him anywhere.
Yeah. So Paul W Radio on Twitter is where you can find me. Usually talking about women's football or yelling about Coventry City.
This really made me laugh.
There we go,
Claire's
gone again.
finally joined us. Claire's finally joined us. Now we're leaving. Thanks, Claire. Bless her. I'm sorry, that really made me laugh. Freya, where can everybody find you?
Yeah, we're across all social media at the whole 115 yards. It's me and Lindsay talking all things Villa, Sunderland, Barcelona, everything really, a bit of everything. So yeah, come along and join us.
Oh, I love it. I'm sorry, that really made me laugh with Claire. I've got my giggles now. If anybody wants to find me as well, I am SharXRAFC, and that is on Twitter, it's on Instagram, it's on TikTok. My Her Game 2 stuff is Rochdale HGT. And of course, you can find me tomorrow on Absolutely Lower League, where I don't really want to talk football because we lost, but you got to do it, haven't you? You got to get your wins in, you got to get your losses in. But yeah, and the most important socials of them all, we are the Absolute Football Podcast, and on Twitter, I am not calling it X. I say it every time, I refuse to call it X. It is Twitter and that little blue bird, always for me. We are Absolute Ball Pod. On YouTube and Twitch, we are Absolute Football Podcast. On TikTok, we are Absolute Football Pod. On Instagram and Threads, if anybody does use Threads, we are Absolute Football Podcast _. We have an Absolute Football Podcast on Facebook. We obviously have our Premier League show and our European show on a Monday. We have our WSL show on a Wednesday, and then the Lower League show at 8:30 on a Thursday. So you can catch that one tomorrow. And thank you so much to everyone in the chat as well. We have Mr. Luke. He has put, great show, everyone. See you tomorrow for my favourite show of the week. Cannot wait to talk about a Gateshead win. That's why he wants to come on and talk about a Gateshead win. Sam has also put, currently working on a thumbnail for the Lower League show, spoiler, Maidstone United. And I don't know if anybody saw that of me, right? Did anyone see that clip? I joined in the chat on Monday night when I weren't feeling too well, and my fat thumbs kept making mistakes. So I meant to put, some of the Maidstone backroom staff watch the podcast, and I kept putting some of the Maidstone backroom staff eat. They just kept saying eat, and I must have put it 3 times. So of course Sam clipped it. So yeah, spoiler for everyone: Maidstone's backroom staff actually eat.
They actually eat,
which is great. That's fantastic to know.
That's what's spurring them on. That's because they eat.
Anybody wanted a spoiler, you've got one. Simon has put, great show tonight. Obviously, Claire's just joined us. Bless her. Chris has put, great show yet again, guys. Claire said that she loves us all. You are also her woman crush as well, Freya.
My work here is done. Thank you very much.
So on this week's Where's Claire, she will be stalking Freya.
I thought I saw something outside the window. Oh, that's it. I'll pull that line down.
Well, I hope it's Claire now and not some other random. I would rather it be Claire. And Shawnee as well. I'm not coming in tomorrow as we lost day, Danny.
Yeah, probably don't come in next week as well, I would imagine.
But yeah, thank you so much to everybody in the chat who has joined us. We have loved speaking WSL and the Championship with you. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, and goodbye everyone, and take care.